Now you got your ball, have you? No, good girl. Stop him there. Just having a little, pit stop. Let her have a run around. I brought a ball by accident today, so I thought, oh, well, chuck it and see what she does. Come and have a drink. Come and have a drink. Have a drink. Have a drink. She's not thirsty. Too interested in that ball, aren't you? Eh? Too interested in that ball. You've got to give it here. What if I told you, for me to throw the ball, you have to let go of the ball? And that look, it's that Jedi mind trick look, isn't it? You will do what I tell you. You will throw the ball. So I had my trip to Cops last week, the week before, whatever it was. Started off in a very dodgy fashion. Actually, I get over there. Get over. Interesting. I always like to fill up at Tamingli on that trip because it's about 120, 130 k's from home. Then if I fill up at Tamingli, the fuel is always cheaper there. It's a bit of a fuel hub. It's always like, 10 cents a litre cheaper and stuff. What are you up to? And I thought, oh, I don't know whether I've got enough fuel in the car to do that, to get there. For some reason or other, hadn't filled it or hadn't put fuel in it. And so I just put a 10 litre container of fuel in to make sure that I got to Tamingli, and and a dup, it's a dup bro if you're from New Zealand, eh? More than just a dip. There's some bloody, oh no, that looked like that was about a foot and a half deep for a minute. So yeah, anyway. I go to bed very early on these trips and get up really early and leave, and I left about 3:30 a.m. and I got to Tamingli about 4:30, 4:45, still dark, and the whole town was blacked out. So there was no fuel at all, and it's another 50 k's to Dubbo, which was the next fuel stop, and about the same back, well, probably longer back to Parks actually, to go back and get fuel. DTE was saying about 65 kilometres left in the tank, and so I thought, oh well, I'm just going to have to, you know, who knows what's going on here. There was no one around to ask, you know, so I just pressed on to get to Dubbo, you know, and you know, by the time I got 20 k's out or something like that, I was starting to sweat, you know, like the distance and the distance still empty were starting to look pretty much the same. So, but I made it to Dubbo, you know, like, and it's set, and the Toyota's got a 60 litre tank, and it took 57.8 or something. So that's as low as I'd ever like to see that happen again, you know. Anyway, I had a great time at my mate's place, you know, on the Wednesday night. My mate Paul came down from his place near Byron, and we all got hideously drunk and told ridiculous stories, you know. That's the trouble, you've known each other for so long, you know, 45 years or more, you know, getting slowly towards 50 years. And, you know, old girlfriends, the whole lot, you know, and I was really tired, so I got drunk, but we had chicken wings with Frank sauce, and they were delicious. I gave Mark strict instructions to make sure he really cooked them so they crisp up, you know, which he did, and they were brilliant. So that was great. And then the next night we went to the pub for dinner. Paul stayed on for 2 nights, which was great. You don't usually get to see him that much, so that was good. And then Adrian and Tina, who we call Mum and Dad, they live near. That's why Mark moved to Missabody. They were already living there. They were one of the early escapees from inner city Sydney, and they were punks, you know. Adrian's about 6'3" and skinny, and he used to have this great big mohawk, you know, and Tina's the opposite. She's quite short and quite plump, but they've been together God knows how long, and they're just, you know, brilliant couple, you know. And so the 5 of us went out to the Boweraville pub for dinner, and that was really good as well. And then they went back to Mark's place, and we drank too much in, and, you know, etc., etc. Yeah. Well, I'm guessing the water fairly rushes through here when it rains properly. Took Tilly to the beach at Milestone, which I really enjoy and she really enjoys. There's quite a few of these little culverts, or what do you want to call them? Oh, here's another one. Here's another one they prepared earlier. Yeah. Yes, that was really good. I'll probably stick a little short video on the beginning of this one. I love that beach. It's like we only ever really, I think we went there in November one time, but it always seems to be empty. And there was one guy there. There was one guy there fishing when we were there the other day, and had a quick chat to him. He was fishing for tailor or Australian salmon. Australian salmon aren't really a salmon as such, but that's what they're called. I can't remember their Latin name. Fishius bloody fuckiness or something. Yeah, here we go, there's another one. Oh, there, Bessie, hang on to her. Completely forgotten to look for where we turned on to this road last time. Good girl. Hey, what's going on? Having fun, are you? I was half hoping, half expecting, half hoping that when I put her back in the sidecar and left the ball in there with her, she might put the ball in her mouth and shut her up for a while. But it was not to be. This is too interesting, apparently. So normally when we go for our afternoon walks and whatnot, she carries the ball, only drops it once or twice for me to whack with the stick, you know, for her to chase. Generally she just likes to run around with it in her mouth. It's a nice day to just saunter along in the sunshine. I actually took my jumper off for a little while back at that place we stopped, but I'd put it back on just before we left. feeling that's the way where we came back on, so it's a fair way along. Looks like Yarrabandai Rd up there, so it's not very far at all from that turn off to here, which means from the other road we must have sort of gone and then back. Something silly like that. K100. Sure no one comes charging down there. It's only 1:30, so just go home and have some lunch. Cup of tea and a good hard lie down or something. I'm currently subscribed to BritBox, and I'm watching every episode of the classic Doctor Who series from William Hartnell up to Sylvester McCoy. Everything's still ridiculously green, though I don't think that's going to last much longer. Still, it's been a real bonus. Life is a lot more pleasant since I got a spanner out and tightened up the mirrors. So I've mentioned about Erica, the echidna is back for the 3rd winter in a row, and she's under the house nesting at the moment. And last night, the house is mounted on very low piers, you know, and so you can hear her spine scratching underneath the floor, you know, on the other side of the floor. And this drives Tilly nuts. You know, so she's going around the house trying to work out how to get at this echidna through the thing, you know, and then she wants to go outside and try and catch her out there, you know. It's kind of comical for a little while. That was the road we started on, next to the hill. Let's go in there one day and have a look at that truck. God knows who it belongs to. So that piece of paper back there, bit of somebody's thrown out their car window, I suppose. It's definitive evidence that mankind is irredeemable. No other animal in the world would shit in their own pond, as it were, you know, their own nest. It's one of the local willy wagtails. There's lots of them at the moment. I suppose there always